Good, hold on, I have one more start.
You know, I think one of the other significant challenges to the permanent forum and just to the UN system in general is the issue of full and meaningful participation of indigenous peoples. Um, you know, there have been countless international declarations and you know, right to the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples that guarantee and protect that right. Um, However, you know, I think one just has to have a good analysis of power and of how power plays out within the UN to understand that there are still significant inequities in terms of access to funds for indigenous organizations and nations to participate meaningfully within the UN system. And there are politics that are involved in that. And so in that context, you know, particularly around the debate on carbon trading and on the clean development mechanisms and the World Bank REDD program, you know, there is significant concern that those opposed to these initiatives will, you know, have already experienced trouble accessing resources to continue to participate and to share why they have such strong opposition to these harmful and destructive programs. And so, you know, I think that one of the important things that has got to happen is there has got to be some way to develop a pool or resource pool of monies that both indigenous peoples in the South as well as indigenous peoples living within the industrialized North, that they can access to guarantee that there is a full spectrum of perspectives represented at these meetings, like the CBD and like the CSD and like the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Permanent Forum itself, and all other important gatherings where our voices need to be heard. Because, you know, I think that one of the things that I have observed has been somewhat of an elitism that can take place. And I think that there has got to be more transparency and accountability when we talk about supporting indigenous struggle, and that has got to be tied to you know, supporting self-determination of indigenous peoples, which means allowing them to control resources that are meant for them. And you know, I think that means, you know, that we need to continue to work down a path of establishing protocols of accountability that ensure that indigenous peoples can continue to participate fully and meaningfully in these meetings, even if that means that their perspectives of their people that they're representing are at odds with the World Bank or with, you know, powerful nation states. I think that we've got to, you know, continue, and this means the NGO community, this means individuals that support indigenous struggle, different indigenous nations. You know, we have got to establish a way for these voices to be heard and to guarantee that. Otherwise, you know, what we will have is a greenwashing or a red washing, I don't know what you want to call it, of these meetings. Because this is a significant issue, you know, when resources become politicized, when they, you know, and when you have folks that are controlling resources that aren't necessarily accountable to, you know, indigenous nations and peoples, determining who can participate and who can't. This has got to be addressed, especially within the permanent forum, so that we can make sure that you know, we have fair and equitable and meaningful dialogue on these critical issues that our indigenous nations across Mother Earth are facing today.